season starting with so much promise. A budding dynasty trying to reclaim former glory. Until...
I'm telling you right now, I have jumped off the ship. No, this team has a serious internal problem.
Tensions, unease, and chemistry begins to combust.
Ask me July 1st, and I don't owe anybody.
Starring Kyrie Irving, Jason Tatum, and Danny Ainge. This summer, the Boston Celtics become the departing.
Oh, good.
You like our new show with us at the Jump?
I don't know how much our producers get paid, but they deserve a raise.
Yes.
Not enough after that one.
Fantastic. Welcome back to the Jump Free Agency Special. Indeed, Kyrie Irving and Al Horford expected to depart, right? Last summer's Eastern Conference favorites. Danny Ainge, though, appearing to have recruited at least one replacement. Woj reporting Kemba Walker agreeing to a 4-year, $141 million deal with the Celtics, leaving the Hornets. And as you can see in our screen, Bobby Marks is here to break down all of it, because Woj also reporting, Bobby, that there could be a 3-team sign-and trade that would put Kyrie in Brooklyn, Terry Rozier in Charlotte, creating that full mid-level slot for Boston. Explain how close this is to happening and why that would make such a difference.
Well, Rachel, from a 3-team deal, it's dead. I mean, Brooklyn has no incentive at all unless they are going to be well compensated from either Boston or Charlotte in first-round draft picks. It doesn't help the Nets out to have now. You know, we can certainly talk about Brooklyn being one of the favorites in the Eastern Conference, even with Kevin out. It doesn't help Brooklyn, because now, you know, Boston would have maybe the ability to bring back Marcus Morris, or I think they're going to make one more strong pitch to bring back Al Horford. And now you have the addition of Kemba Walker here. So from Brooklyn's standpoint, unless they were going to be incentivized in a first-round pick or multiple first-round picks, and that is not the case right now, that 3-team deal is dead. And as you've seen, it's going to be a 2-team signing trade, the rare double signing trade.
Right.
That gets Terry Rozier to... gets them to Charlotte, because that's a team that doesn't have cap space. So they created an exception there to take Rozier back. So, we'll see what happens with Al Horford now. I think that's going to be the big question, if Boston can kind of make one last pitch for Horford to get back to Boston.
So what is it? Break that down a little bit more for us, Bobby, because obviously they've had all season to talk to him, and there's varying rules about how much you can talk to your own free agents about this. But obviously, where in the world
I'm telling you,
could Al Horford go is one of my favorite questions of the day. Were you as surprised, Bobby, as most people in the league seem to be, when Al Horford broke off talks with Boston and seemed to be going on the market, and the fact that, as we've been wondering, who is this team that he must have some sort of telepathic deal with? Why does Boston think they can get back in there now?
Well, there is a team out there, and we just don't know about it yet. And whenever you opt out of $30.5 million, there's a team there. You are not doing that blind, I'm telling you, or the agent's going to get fired. And I know Al's agent, Jason Glushon, real well, and I've got confidence that he's got a team lined up. I don't think it's going to be Boston here, though. I really don't. I think we're going to see, once we get through today, who is left standing, with a $25 to $30 million in room. I think you saw with that Harrison Barnes contract, that 4 for $85, that Jeff Schwartz's agent wasn't going to opt out of $25 million if he knew that something was going to be there. But as you guys have seen, New Orleans is now out of the picture with that J.J. Redick contract. Sacramento's out of the picture with Barnes and Dwayne Dedmon here. So the market is still drying up, but I'm telling you, there's an Al Horford team out there. I don't think we know where it is yet.
Bobby, in 2016, the last time we saw a lot of cap space, we saw a lot of deals right out of the gate that we knew were like, those look rough. What to you so far have you seen? Because we have hundreds of millions out there. Have you seen anything so far where you're like, wow, I don't know about that one?
Well, the Brogdon number is a big one, right? I mean, 5 for 85 for Malcolm Brogdon, and I think it put Milwaukee certainly in a tough spot when you did the Chris Middleton contract for $178, and they had to make a decision if they were willing to go into the luxury tax. And I know they wound up getting a first and second round pick, but Brian, it didn't help the Bucks much, because they only saved about, I guess, $3 million off the deal when you remove his number. So that was that was certainly a big number, certainly for a restricted free agent. So there's still some coming in here. That Bogdanovic number was big in Utah. I think 4 for 72, somewhere around there.
4 for 73, Bobby.
Yeah, 4%, and that costs you Derek Favors. So there's a little bit of a trickle down effect here. But I think you're seeing a lot of these 2 and 3 year deals. I mean, the days of the Jan Mahinmis and Bismack Biyombo and Luol Deng and Joakim Noah, Chandler Parsons. I mean, we can go down the list. Those 4 years, $75 to $80 million deals, I think they are kind of long gone. We're seeing a little bit more of I think 3 years, 30 for Jeremy Lamb, which is a really good deal in Indiana.
Excellent. Bobby, thank you so much. We'll be checking back in with you as we go, because you asked me during the break, is free agency over yet? Bobby, free agency is not over yet.
My wife hopes it's over soon.
I got news for your wife. Although, again, like Woj, I have to compliment you on going 3,000 miles away, because we do have the trade Craig here.
Do the right thing, Bobby. Trust me. Do the right thing.
And I will say, though, for all of the we had dry ice falling in the studio every time this has happened. Ramona, you're not electrocuted yet. And so really, I want you to be looking on the bright side, because...
I love it. I say do it all the time. Do it in and out of every break.
Covering my coffee.
There we go.
Oh, you breathe worse anywhere else.
It's true. It's LA.
You breathe worse. We have so many questions still to come up here on free agency. I love that. Where in the world is Al Horford going? We'll talk about that and so much more. Stick with us.
Mesothelioma. That's the name of the